2:45 p.m. Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. Oh man. I've been trying to upload content as, interesting little things occur such as the owl video without doing a daily update that turns into a half-hour event. I find that the product is inferior and not in the intentionally low quality way. So it's been probably, without checking, I want to say it's been at least 2 days. Now, keep in mind, I used to be a social media shit poster. I used to get on, and if I was bored at any point, make a post. It would be like Trump tweeting whenever it's like, you see somebody posting some random nonsense. Man, are they taking a dump? Are they just sitting there? Like, they're just bored, and they're, getting off of that was good. So then, even a daily video or cluster of topical videos done every single day is a lot. And doing it outwardly is less convenient, which is a boon, because it makes me want to reserve my output, which is good. So today, I am going to list off some things that I have recently just had pass my awareness. And if I can remember a dream at some point here based on any of the things I'm talking about, I know I've had them. I just don't have a direct recall at the moment. I'm not keeping a dream journal kind of by intention. It's better to keep. It's in this side of things, I would love to be able to be like, oh man, this awesome crazy shit that I did in my dreams. But at the same time, when I keep it separated enough that I'm not, like, I'll be aware of certain things, but then at the same time, it's like, yes, I know I'm dreaming. I know I'm having a whole set of experiences on the other side of the veil, as it were. And I'm keeping them separate so that each has its own specific relief from the other. Because there are things that terrify that occur in dreams that the waking, they just don't happen. They can't happen. Not like that. And simultaneously, the stresses, concerns, and anxieties of this side in what we call the waking, whether or not there's an actual difference between the two, is one of those things I could debate for hours if I wanted to. Keeps it separate because they don't exist over there on that angle, except by virtue of the anxieties and stresses pertaining to my ability to have a safe place to get some sleep and have a dream. But then on the dream side of things, the ability to dream and have a quality dream life that is, good processing and mental health and things like that affects the waking side, the progress, and how well things go. So it's like I'm aware of the dreams. I can recall little glimpses of things. But as far as events, major symbols, anything like that, I have no recollection at the moment. By my own intent. That's a purposeful thing. By the way, the teapot's going to go off soon. So I was just in a live stream chat with about 40 people. At least that's what the number said. I have no idea what the actual number might be compared to something on a number that low. Could be 100. Could be way more. Who knows? But there was only like 6 or 8 people talking. So for that many people to be vocal in the chat for 40 people seems like maybe 40 people. There it is. Okay. So I was on this little... Sorry, I'm pressing my coffee. I was on this little chat stream thing. One of the channels that is run by the musician that did the former theme song of an old channel that got completely zotted by YouTube, operated by the dude who created the video game Earthworm Jim. And we were just watching the White House press conference thing. Phone cam pointed at a TV, super low res, kind of like my Dune video, and skating straight through copyright, I think. And phone kept ringing though. I got a bogus phone call come through. It caused a comment for the chat to be deleted. I should have posted rather than screen call. I don't like to decline. Every time I get a phone call from a number that I don't recognize, I'll put it on the screener and see if they'll say anything. The one that I screened happened to be something about some business call thing, and it's like, I'm not a business. This is probably the former owner of the phone numbers, old contacts calling through, because a lot of them do. For some reason, they still use that number as a listing, even though that's not their number, it's mine. So anyways, there was a person in this chat that was talking about a certain rumor they'd heard, and what the rumor was about gatherings with the thing against the government and taking it back or whatever mid-December, and I'm like, man, that's like a week away. People wouldn't be spreading rumors saying we're going to show up on that day and do the... So I told this person, I said, look, I, heard such rumors before, and twice they ended up, I didn't do squat, because the smart person doesn't do anything. And these rumors led to what can only be described as like Fed fests. They're calling them, or like a glow fest or whatever. They're glowing like feds. They are, nobody shows up, because only smart people, they're trying to get them, and it was like a honeypot thing. And so, like, you got a bunch of undercover cops pretending to be protesters, and there are no protesters present. Just the cops pretending to be protesters. This has happened twice. The more recent one happened like a week or two ago. And this person's like, spreading this crap, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. I've heard that. Here's, well, I'm just saying that there's some channels that are given, times, dates, and places to be. And I was like, well, then I wouldn't trust any of that. And I suggest that you don't either. And they said, well, I don't. It's just rumors. I'm just saying. And then the stream ended. But I did get to say, I'm doing that sideways look now. Like, really? Directly at the person. It was a separate sets of words that sound like saying, sock it to me. But that wasn't how it was spelled. That person is either a malicious spreader of lies for chaotic purposes, an evil person, or a Fed trying to find and convince anyone that will listen. And some innocent numbskulls might potentially. And the thing is, half of there were a lot of innocent numbskulls last January. Those people have not been prosecuted, just some of the people that were involved in being there and organizing it. So that leads me to the next thing. Right before making this video, I switched off, that stream ended, I found this other thing I just watched pertaining to that. Some Congress people giving a report on the situation. And the name of their report is Unusually Cruel. So look that up. I would DuckDuckGo it or Google it or Bing it, or I don't know. You can't find a search engine that is 100% reliable. Even DuckDuckGo has curated results. Even though the claim is they don't have a search history keeper, so whatever. But it's like they can still by default, just if they know what the search terms are, can throttle certain results. You have to get real creative with your Boolean, and you have to hope that the people that are putting the pages together are using other good meta tags to be able to give other footholds in the search algorithm, because it's, I don't know, it's hard to describe. So that gave me a thought. Maybe I should do a series, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to do this, where I think I'm going to cover I want to cover the Bill of Rights, but I feel like in order to do that, I should cover the Constitution first. It's not an exceptionally long document. I'm hoping that it's possible that it can be done fairly easily and quickly, and it'll simply be kind of an advanced layperson's guide to constitutionality. In other words, how it's supposed to work. And we compare how it's supposed to work to how it does work, or sometimes doesn't. And what you'll find is, my view is, there's a ton of laws that are really probably unconstitutional. If it was to be like, there's more, they're written and passed in orders of over time, of ways that kind of escape people's awareness. I've spoken before on the 5-week public consciousness attention span and the individual attention span slightly. I think I've mentioned that a little. The speaking of attention spans, did it to myself. The laws are written in a way that a mass of people and their ability to vote and the time it takes to get anything accomplished, it's kind of almost as if the laws are written in a way that they are fortifying themselves into whatever power and position over a course of time. That is just like, if this is the curve for, hopefully this will make sense visually as a comparison, because I have no way of explaining it verbally right now. If this is the curve of what people are able to do about anything, and like, this is the curve of what the law is doing, you'll see that this one here and this one here, they will never meet. This one has already exceeded, right? More is going on over time that then can be, and you'll see it in news cycles, public dialogue, the argument of the day, however you want to look at it, whatever window you have into the culture and the society and whatever the topics of the day. We are participating in that zeitgeist generation as individual synapses by having these discussions and thoughts and whatever. It is by that method that the be the change you want to see technically works. It's something like that. So, if the Constitution and the laws were fed to a computer, not for the purpose of how do we enforce this, but how much of this is valid based on the Constitution, which is the underlying source code of the government as a file and processing system, right? You've got the architecture, that's the Constitution, the code that runs the software or the firmware, which is like your operating system, which takes care of all your everything, which is the laws and the society and the people, right? Rather than how do we make this work? That's like patching it until the original is basically out of the picture. That's broken online games where too many patches have caused things to basically be crap and not fun anymore. Or is there something we can do? Like how much of this can we achieve while filtering via the source? So what I mean is, there is an order of operations of legality where, what laws do what, as their authority is delegated based on what they call like enumerated rights of the government. So this has gone into, I believe, in the Constitution, but the gist being that the Constitution cannot be superseded by federal law. Federal law cannot be superseded by state law, except in places where it is not especially delegated power to the federal government, by which the state has taken its right via the 10th Amendment, which is constitutionality, that the state's right and its own thing there. But states have their own constitutions, and the constitutions are based on the federal constitution, or the U.S. Constitution, that is. And so they have a framework with, it's a fractal thing. They're an image of same, or, you know, they... But so what it means is that there are certain places where it cannot exceed certain power. Because our Constitution is the creation of government, and the Bill of Rights is the limitation of government, for the most part. So federal laws cannot be unconstitutional. So let's take a look at what all laws are in place that actually, whether or not there's a ruling on it. Like, you could work so many different ways with a computer to analyze this through logic to determine rulings at the time over the course of the legality and what we have come to, versus from just the Constitution to what we're looking to get, what is actually required, and how to do so constitutionally without being deceptive or tyrannical in some way. And then finding a nice, fair balance. That would be the ideal situation to strive for. And what I'm getting at is that we don't have this because we have not fed our laws and our Constitution into a computer for a purpose not of enforcement, but of analysis. Because it would be great to find out, from a logical standpoint, how much does and doesn't work in the laws. Eliminate the stuff that doesn't work, find workarounds to get the stuff that needs to work without being unconstitutional, without violating people's rights. You find a harmony between freedom and the social contract of the rules that we all agree to follow. And we don't have that. We have one that takes advantage of the frailty of human awareness, that it is not a computer with hard logic and a file system on which facts are written, and it is unquestionable. This is the analysis. Now, you can question the means by which it's analyzed, but you can't say that analysis. What analysis? So I think if we did something like that, it would definitely... I think it would clarify some stuff, because there is a lot of unconstitutional stuff that the government does. And then the second thing would be an AI enforcement of the fair, reformatted version of the law, which would mean every time the government oversteps, the AI steps in and says, "Government, you're out of line," and orders the government back. There would be places where these functions could be performed computationally rather than by people. That would mean that oversteps and corruption and things like that would be much less likely to happen as well. But the law you couldn't take the current law as it stands and apply it, because that would become something very bad. A lot of the things that are written into the law are written so that they can retain power. Those things need to be filtered out before the law would be enforced. Because trust me, once it's fair, it would work much better on its own without the need for a lot of that. But that's like 50 or 100 years away. Alternately, it is possible for people to, I don't know, like the social credit type thing, like it is a clever means by which people control themselves and each other without the government really having to do much, which is, in a sense, better than the government doing it, but it's set up and directed, including how the rules work, and controlled by the corrupt money, private industry. It's not, nobody should be in charge of it. It should just be people doing it with themselves. And it used to be that way, and then it changed. Not really sure why. Then it happened back, but the way it's happening currently, which isn't happening for anybody's best interest. It's happening for other people's purposes of control and making money. There are military tensions. There is a TV doctor trying to continue to scare up fear, and you should still plan and hope for the worst, even though this, I think, like, there's still yet to be, like, a death from it. Eventually there's going to be one. It's going to be just long enough that everyone's going to have got on a side of either this side or the other side, or one side's going to be like, yeah, well, there isn't even a death from it, so whatever. And then finally, when somebody actually does pass, that they decide to assign it to that, and everyone's like, yeah, see, finally, we told you, booyah! And it's like, okay, but now you're cheering for the fact that somebody died. I had a video get cut because I cheered for the fact that some very bad people died. But that's what's going to happen. And the people are going to get sucked into that can go fuck themselves. Anyways. This has been my channel update. Things have been alright. No news is good news. I have not had any particular profound thoughts to share because I have been in a different mode. I've been trying to be more in the moment and, I don't know, just, refocus my center. And it's been working, so that's good. I work tonight. This will upload. And then I have 2 more days off. It's going to be an interesting couple of days. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous video, my heating element on my dryer went out. I had to clear out and rebuild slightly some of the dryer duct. And now I'm cold tumbling my laundry. I think the motor running hopefully doesn't use as much power as the heater coil uses to generate. So an hour or 2 of tumble dry hopefully equates to about the same as a regular dry cycle. That's how much work is required of the machine to get dry clothes. It's working, which is cool, but it's a little different. I picked up the U-joints for the 4-wheel drive shaft. So that is now... Oh, and also I picked up a gas canister for the torch because I'm going to have to blowtorch the old U-joints to get the... what they do is when they install the U-joints, instead of having a little metal ring that you can pry off to change the... You can find a way to get the thing out then. These are installed at the factory with a injected plastic ring in a little hollow cavity that when this plastic cools, it hardens and it retains it. And to get it out, you have to heat the thing to the point that the plastic melts, becomes molten, spits out of the little hole into which it was injected until it stops oozing out the weird burning plastic snake. It looks like this weird, melty plastic. If it touches anything flammable, it will ignite. It's that hot. And I've got four end caps of those I've got to get emptied out of that stuff with the torch. So I got a new thing for that. So I have everything I need to do that. I'm going to do that on one of my days off after this. I'm also going to get an oil change on my truck after working tonight. I've got the last quart of oil to put in. I'm making it to the mileage that is on the doohickey, the sticker, even though it's actually kind of broken down significantly. I've gotten around the breakdown by using octane booster. It's also not misfiring as bad running high octane fuel right now. I cannot run it like this all the time, but I am able to have sufficient power. The engine is running well. It's just got the sludge it's filtering, so I'm not driving it hard, but it is running good. So I'll get my oil changed and my 4-wheel drive together this week. And hopefully tonight is puts me in a good position to work toward the brakes. And as soon as I can get either the hose or the caliper, I'm going to. I'm not taking this saving up until I have it business because obviously that's not working. So I'm going to grab each part as I can get it until I can do a project and then do it. Meantime, I've got 3 paychecks in December, and this means I think I should be able to get a little more money thrown onto the property tax. I've already got one piece on. I'm going to keep throwing that on as I get it. So, despite adversarial adversity over a holiday weekend, which was a terrible weekend. I'm going to do the thing that I set out to do. So, happy Tuesday to everybody, and this will upload at some point this evening.